Welcome to Crushing 1L, a podcast about how much caffeine you can consume before you begin to experience heart palpitations. Don't ask us how we know that. I'm Abhi, a 1L at Penn Law, and that's Aaminah, my co-host at a 1L at UCLA Law. Aaminah, first topic. You were just at the LSAT forum, so you hung out with a bunch of Demon students, and those are primarily who's listening to this. So what happened? How was it?
Yeah, it was so cool to meet so many of you guys. Some things I did not expect. I don't know why. Law school really just has my mind in an alternate universe. So I didn't expect so many of you to ask questions about the LSAT. Like, what are your LSAT prep strategies? Like, how do I, like, especially with the upcoming November LSAT, like, many of you were like, what can I change in 2 weeks? The answer is nothing. Don't change anything. Like, the way you practice is the way you perform. So don't change anything. But nonetheless, it was really cool to meet you guys. Yeah. What else can I say about the LSAT forum?
You didn't expect LSAT questions at
I know.
the LSAT Demon booth at the LSAT
I just
California
expected to say, hey, sign up for LSAT Demon. It's great.
Yeah.
But like substantive questions, like, I mean, I'll answer them. I always do, but I'm just so behind the screen at LSAT Demon, like in terms of that conversation. Like, I just didn't expect people to say face to face.
Oh,
Like,
100%.
Ask questions face to face. Like, huh?
Yeah, and it's tough, dude, because like we're just so in the trenches in law school right now that
Yeah.
it's not that. Again, we've made the argument the LSAT is actually highly related and highly correlated with law school, but it's also just its own thing. So I don't know if this makes anybody feel better, but yeah, once you get it out of the way and you kind of get your applications done and you start law school, you're not really going to think about the test ever, unless you become a professional like
Right.
LSAT person like we are.
Yeah.
In which case we somehow sometimes get dragged back into thinking about the LSAT. That's
Yeah.
me every Wednesday night. I like have a full day of law school and then I teach the back nine at 8:30, and like at 8 o'clock I'm like, oh shit, I have to teach the LSAT like
Yeah.
in 30 minutes. So yeah, super fun. Super
Well,
glad you were able to make it.
Yeah, that and like so many people came up and were like, I just wanted to say, like, I'm already with the demon, but I just wanted to say thank you. Like, the demon helped me so much. Like, this helped me, that helped me. Like, it changed my score. I saw point increases like within a month. Like, it was really awesome to hear that. Like, we do the work, but sometimes it's a thankless job, which is fine. But like, yeah, it was nice to have students come up and say that as well.
That's so awesome. I'm so glad that we've been really ramping up. So yeah, shout out to Abigail and Billy. They spearhead that stuff and all the teachers and tutors that show up. So thanks, Aaminah, for showing up there. Students love to interact with us, and I think we love to see students. So folks, yeah, keep an eye out on the LSAC forum schedule. We will, if it's in a major city near you, we'll be there. So
Yeah, actually, see me again in person on November 15th. I'll be in San Francisco.
Whoa, you going up to NorCal? Very cool.
I'm going up to NorCal, so
Very
if you're
cool. With
there,
all the
I'll
free
be there.
time, you have in
Such
your
a
law
good
school schedule.
scheduling decision that I made when I agreed to do that.
Yeah, they were like, I was considering doing the New York or the Philly one, and I was just like, I can't. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. But God bless you, and I'm glad that you're doing it. Speaking of schedule, second topic, you've made some scheduling decisions recently. I mean, I heard course selection.
Oh, I'm like, have I? God, like that sounds tough. I hate scheduling. But yeah, I was very confused what you're asking me. But yes, I did make my course selection for the spring. So the way that it works at UCLA is that in your spring semester of 1L, you can take 2 elective courses. So I'll be have to take constitutional law, and obviously I have to continue legal research and writing. But in addition to that, I'll be taking criminal law, which is also one of our doctrinals, but not one that we necessarily have to take in the second semester.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then on top of that, I will be taking, well, I'm scheduled to take harmonizing Hollywood, so it's like an entertainment class about ethics and Hollywood entertainment things. Um, yeah, I'm looking at maybe another class as well, but TBD on that. It's incredibly selective, and yeah, but I don't know. We'll see. But it was an interesting process to choose the courses, because we had to choose 12 classes that we had to like rank. Yeah, we had to
Oh, and
rank.
then you get like 4 or 5 of them.
No, you only get 2 of them, but you had to rank
Oh.
12 electives.
Wait,
Which
what?
was-
Whoa.
Right, which was super difficult to choose, because like, respectfully, very many interesting classes, but not very, like, not 12 of
Well,
them
my
that
12,
I'm
yeah, my
personally
12th,
interested in.
my 12th is not going to be something I'm excited
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
Yeah, and then also, of course, you have to make sure that the finals don't conflict and that the scheduling of those classes don't conflict with each other. It was a bit of an arduous process. Also,
Whoa. Wait,
I don't.
that sounds like a really complicated process. I feel like there should be like an app or like a computer program that does that for you.
Yeah, it was intense. Something else to look at if you're allowed to choose your classes for a certain semester is be mindful of the professors that you're taking with because that can really impact the experience that you have in class. Um,
Yeah, like different teaching
yeah.
styles, different focuses on different areas. I mean, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, which again goes to the whole conversation of being in touch with these different affinity groups, 2Ls and 3Ls, people who have come before you, so that, you can get the insider scoop on the professors and classes and like what those environments are like.
That's
Yeah,
great advice. That's great advice. I feel like y'all are just so far ahead of like you're already picking classes for next semester, and it's I just feel like I just started this semester,
right.
and
I feel
I'm
the same way, just to be clear.
so fair. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You guys are. How big is your school? How many people per class do you think?
I feel like there's in the vicinity of like there's 300 of us, give or take. And I
Yeah.
think
Okay.
in the entirety of the law school is maybe 1,000
Yeah, that makes
affiliate.
sense. You know, three
Yeah.
something times three is about 1,000. So that
Yeah.
makes something. That makes sense. We're just under that, so we're with similar size, closer to like 750, I think total.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, dude, 12 ranking 12.
It was tough.
I simply could not do that.
Like I think I have my paper
What was your
here.
12?
Like,
Can I ask what your 12th was? And like without, is there anything? There's I
look
hope
at I
there's
was diagramming. It reduced me to diagramming. Not really. Not
bro.
really.
You gotta feed that into ChatGPT and ask you to make your schedule for you.
No. No. I'm not. I know that some people here love AI. I am not so similarly inclined. I often forget that it exists, and I'm
I
not like
love
a
AI.
big proponent of it.
I love
Um,
AI. It makes my life easier.
yeah, yeah. But what was your question? Oh, what was my 12th class?
Yeah, what
Let's
was your 12th?
see. Let us see if I can pull it up.
And if you don't mind sharing, maybe what was your like top, maybe your top, or I don't know if you want to like put that out there and
Oh,
like jinx it or something.
well, no, it's already been done. So
Oh,
my
okay,
top,
fair enough.
my top class was civil rights,
Okay, cool.
which I did not get. And my 12th
Sad.
class, I know it was actually personally devastating. And we will be revisiting, but neither here nor there. My 12th class, I was trying to look at my listing, but I can't find it. So I'm like seeing if I remember off the list. I don't. Maybe business associations.
Okay, so yeah, just something you weren't super pumped about, but like would have been fine taking, I suppose.
Yeah, something I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, I'll take business associations, but it's not like the thing I really like
yeah,
want to take right now this semester. Like
yeah,
I wanted to balance between a doctrinal and like an elective that I would find interesting.
yeah.
Um,
And business association is just on the bar, so that's it feels like another
yeah,
doctrinal. Yeah.
yeah,
Fair enough. I'm sure that also like one of the reasons you didn't get maybe your top choice was I think 3Ls and 2Ls get preference over us for elective stuff.
yeah,
So fair
yeah. There
enough.
was literally like 12 1L seats in that class.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
tough, tough. Say Levy. Very exciting. I'm excited to hear how next semester goes. I'm not. I'm so that's so far. It's not that I'm not excited. I'm sorry, I misspoke. It's that it's so far. That seems like a different era to me. That's like a different time zone. So
Yeah.
I can't even conceptualize talking to you about next semester
I
because
mean,
I
it
feel
is
like
literally a different time zone, so you're right about
it's a
that.
different it's a different calendar year, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we're in the middle of the semester this semester. So bringing it back, course selection for next semester, awesome. How's your midterm season going? I know you got some of your midterms out of the way. Haven't gotten feedback yet on those, and but maybe got some feedback on your writing assignment.
Ugh, yeah, I mean, so I actually like as you may recall, I had three midterms. One of them we did actually, now that you mention it, we did a review session on one of them, but it was not like, oh, like here's the midterm you submitted and here's the feedback on that midterm. It was more like, here's my sample answer. I think compared to the sample answer, I feel like I did okay, like I was on the right track. Um, Still doesn't give me much hope for my other two midterms because it really could just go any sort of way. But I'll know more tomorrow, hopefully. But yes, I did get my writing assignment to memo back, my feedback on that, and you know, here's the thing. Like generally, like the feedback, I mean, obviously it was useful and constructive, so there's that. But like I will say the first comment was, I don't think that's how you spell your name. And it was correct. I misspelled
Oh
my name
no,
like literally
dude.
at the top of the paper. So that tells you a lot about where I was at writing memo two.
So sad.
Yeah. Be careful, you guys. Like as attorneys, as law students, details matter and they will be noticed.
I love that your legal writing professor like was like, you like, I know how to spell your name.
Yeah,
That's not
not
how
my
you spell your
professor,
name.
my
Oh,
advisor,
sure,
but
sure,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. You're like, yeah, yeah.
my student advisor, yeah.
Hey, they were like, I know your name. That's not your name.
That's not it. Yeah.
So that's kind of a silver lining moment. Like, hey, they
I know
see
who
you
you
as a
are.
person. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Thanks
Um,
thanks for that. Appreciate that.
hey, I hunt the good stuff, brother. You know. No, that's crazy. So I just submitted like our big memo assignment for the semester like a few
Mm.
hours ago. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to get the feedback back from that. Um, and yeah, like I don't think I even really had as you had three midterms and they were all like timed and in person.
One of them was take home.
Sure.
My civil procedure midterm was take home,
Hmm.
but you time it yourself because the value of doing an exercise, much like taking any practice test, is to do it in the test conditions to see how you perform. So
Yeah.
it was timed in that sense, but it wasn't like we sat in the classroom and did it. The other
So
two, yes.
you think that, and then so I only had one midterm, and our
Hmm.
professor was explicitly like, "Hey, this should take you 3 or 4 hours, but don't time yourself because like part of the learning process here is just learning how to get thoughts down on the paper."
Hmm.
Now I don't know if it ended up taking me any longer than 3 or 4 hours. Like I think that's about the right time to spend on something like this anyway. There's not that much to say.
Yeah.
But I was kind of surprised. I walked into I've never taken a practice exam that involved writing for 4 hours.
Right.
And I broke it up across a couple days because I'm not going to sit there and write for 4 hours on something that's ungraded and like doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I was kind of I was surprised like whoa there you can write for 4 hours like you can write
You
about
can.
2 or 3 thousand words and it's going to take you a few hours and you're gonna and some of that's like looking at your notes and like and kind of writing stuff down, editing it to be clearer. It's a process. It was really cool. I really enjoyed my practice exam. Again, my professor didn't even call it a midterm; just a take home practice exam that you just could do at your leisure, and then we submitted for feedback. How do you? And then my other classes, sometimes we have problems that we do, and then we're given feedback, and then we're given model answers to kind of compare our answers to. How do you feel about model answers?
I think, model answers are interesting because it's obviously like kind of the gold standard of what your professor wants to see. So I think in terms of approaching a model answer, it's important to like see how your professor like the things that your professor wants you to pay attention to and how the answer needs should be formatted. But I think at the same time too, like it's you shouldn't take too much from it in the sense of like again, like this is like a perfect answer. Like this is what you're aiming for, but like likely won't achieve at this stage in your process. Um so I think that's like a good guide to like kind of compare your answer against and like just see like did I hit the content points of what my professor wanted to see without necessarily like stressing over the structure and the format, or like even like as you're outlining and preparing your answer like hold on to those notes and saying like, oh, did I get those points at least in my thinking process even if I didn't necessarily get them on the page, like was I on the right track? I think that's kind of the value of a model answer and how I approach them. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I think I need to get better about being meta about model answers. Um, I get my feedback back, and I think, like you said, I hit the stuff, but not to the extent that the model answer does, or
Yeah.
maybe just like the particular way that the professor wanted to talk about the thing. So I need to be more, I need to be better about that, but it's okay. It's a work in progress. That's what the practice problems and the model answers are for. Um, hey, we're getting better. We're getting better every day. We
Every
love it.
day.
We love it.
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
I don't love it, but I am getting better.
yeah, well, hey, I mean, we're so lucky if the hardest thing in our life is like learning how to structure an answer to a question. I mean, come on, right?
Sure.
I don't know. Hashtag blessed. But speaking of hashtags, there's a listener question. Segue to the listener question segment. We got a listener question today, or well, not today, but for today. It's from Anonymous. And the question is, well, it's not really a question. It's more of a statement. I'm more worried about making friends in law school than I am about classes. What do you think of that?
You should worry about classes. No, but like, I mean, classes,
My first gut
trust me,
instinct was like, what do you mean, brother?
there's so much
Like,
to worry about with classes. Like,
yeah, yeah,
I don't,
yeah.
if, respectfully, like, all due respect to you, like, if you're not, I mean, like, I don't want you to worry about classes, like, don't borrow tomorrow's troubles, but like, there's a lot to be worried about
Ooh,
there.
I
You know,
like that.
again,
Don't borrow tomorrow's
yeah.
troubles. Yeah, there.
I
Yeah, you'll have plenty of time to worry about that when you're at 1L. But
it's not something that shouldn't be worried about. But in terms of like the social structures, this is so interesting. Like I feel like I recently had kind of a circle of this in the sense of like something that was starting at the beginning of the year has now like come back around and closed out, I guess is kind of a way to say it. I don't know. Anyway, um to answer your question, like how do we go about engaging in social interactions, making friends in law school? I think I have a two-part comment on this. Um the first part is, it's important to like, as I've said many times before, like it's important to engage with the law school community. So talking to 2Ls and 3Ls, getting into those affinity groups, like finding ways to like explore things that interest you. Maybe with other law students, like I know my roommate is on the intramural soccer team. She plays futsal. I'm sorry, I know I'm not exactly sure how to explain that. It's like indoor soccer. But she does that. And
the
that's
the
what
futsal community is so mad right now. They're
yeah, I mean
so
like,
mad.
but that's a way like that she connects with other law students and does something that's really fun for her. Um I, as I mentioned, like I volunteer and like I'm involved with like some of the political activism stuff that happens in my affinity groups. And that's important for me. Um, I spend a lot of time in the courtyard sometimes, and that's a good way to like run into people and just
I'm a
like,
big courtyard cat, dude. I'm a
yeah,
courtyard cat. I'm always sitting out there.
yeah, that's like a good way to like just run into people and like have social interactions that way. But I think those friendships kind of develop naturally, especially within your section. Like, yeah.
You're gonna
However,
see you're gonna see your section mates literally 8 to
every
10
day,
hours a day for 4 to 5 days a week. Like,
yeah.
I can't overemphasize enough that like you're gonna see people.
Yeah, you will make connections. And
Yeah,
for that reason, that brings me to the second part of my like second comment on that, which is like I think more important is to like think about how you can maintain relationships from outside of law school that will help you keep like your feet on the ground when
it's a
people
great
in law
point.
school are like stressing about, meeting with law firms or doing midterms or doing memos or any of the many, many things you can worry about in your classes. Like it's important to have like grounding relationships outside of that. So I think there's a more like a bigger conversation to be had about like how do we keep engaged with those people? And honestly, like I don't have a great answer for you. Like I talk to my non-law school friends, but like law school is so consuming that like they're definitely not like the
Well, almost by
yeah.
design. It's consuming
Yeah.
by design, right? Like you
Yeah.
are in a building or in a classroom with like a bunch of people by design. It's a
Hmm.
professional school. You're thinking about you're in the hallways, you're chatting about these really like kind of complex issues that even to wrap your head around like what your opinions even are about stuff like this, you're gonna have to pick at this stuff like through these little conversations with your peers. So I
Hmm.
think it's by design that it
Right.
is a consuming process. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, because it's so consuming, like your outside relationships can really fall to the wayside. And like,
100%.
like that they'll tell you that going into law school and like, you have those conversations with people beforehand so that like expectations are understood. But like it will at a point become important for you to still try to maintain those relationships because again, like you just need those people who are not involved in the insanity of law school to be like, hey, like there's life outside of law school. Like take a deep breath. There's more to life
Yeah.
than this.
I would also encourage anybody listening to make sure that you are talking to your law school friends about non-law school things. Some of these peers, these are your closest friends. You're going to see them the most of anybody over the next 3 years. Ask, like, figure out what makes them tick. Like, what do they enjoy doing? What makes them happy? What makes them sad? They're people with like full lives that they've lived before being your law school classmate. And you are ideally also a full grown adult human being who has lived a full life before you are somebody else's law school classmate. So you have more, like, friend who asked the question, you have so much more value than just what you think about your resume for OCI. Right, like that, you are a much more full person than that. So if people are only talking to you about law school stuff, you should feel the power. That you should feel empowered rather to be like, hey, like, can we chat about, like, can we just go get a coffee and like
Yeah.
just like be normal people,
Yeah.
for like 2 seconds. I've had such like wonderful coffee chats with my friends and meals and activities that we do that aren't school related in any way, and or discussions in the courtyard, about like, if you could quantumly teleport somebody to a different dimension, like would that be a war crime? Like I don't know, it's unclear. Uh, but
Okay.
like yeah, but like for instance, right? Like you can just talk to people about cool stuff,
Yeah.
and that doesn't have to be law school related because you're a person.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, I don't know if that really addresses what you were thinking about, but yeah, like, in terms of the social scene in law school, like, there's almost too many ways to be social. So, like, don't worry about it. Like, it will happen naturally and try to maintain some relationships outside of that.
Yeah, and the people at school rock. Like
Yeah.
these are some really really fun people. They're really smart. They're really kind. Uh, the admissions office, I think, like does a decent job. These are all like good people, right?
Well,
So I think overwhelmingly,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
like you're gonna like chances are you're gonna run into a couple of people that you actually really, really vibe with. So I wouldn't
Yeah.
worry about making friends. Um, I think I wouldn't worry about classes, but man, like your friends and you will be worried about classes,
You'll have
and
that.
you can
Yeah.
commiserate together about it.
That's so funny. Like I've literally people have been asking me like, "How's law school going?" Like in the last week, "How's law school going?" And I'm like, I think the general theme is like it's almost an insufferable mess, but the people are great. The people are great.
The people are so great. I don't know if I'm just like completely. It is a bit of a mess. It is a bit of a mess. Even I have to admit that it is a bit of a mess.
Even
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Even I have to admit
Thank you
this.
for
And I'm like
coming
the
down to
most.
this level with the
Well, no, no,
rest
no.
of us.
I'm like the most like what's the word I'm looking for? Like I'm like not ignorant, but I like refuse to acknowledge problems,
I think
which like I
that's
don't know if that's healthy
yeah.
or not. Like
Yeah.
avoidant. I'm like extremely
Mm.
avoidant of
Hmm.
problems. So even I have to admit that there is a bit of a problem here. But we'll see. We'll see. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
like, this is the balance between us. Like, I just want to make, like, stake my claim. Like, I am not like, oh, law school's like, it's all right. Like, I do not feel that way. It is so, it's so overwhelming sometimes. Like, it's, I do not
Sometimes
feel
you
the way that
just
Albie feels, but Albie feels differently, and, like, that might be your experience.
yeah, right. Yeah, it's the full spectrum of human
Hmm.
emotion on
Hmm.
display here. Um, sometimes you have a long day, and then you have to like go put on a suit and go talk to people at a law firm recruiting event for a couple hours, and then you have to come back, and then you have to do 6 hours of reading. And
I
that's
don't like that.
like totally fine so many times, but like there's a number of times that happens where it stops being all right.
No,
But
I
it's
think the
totally
first
good.
time it's like just immediate dread,
It's totally
overwhelm,
good. Totally
disgust.
good.
Yeah, no.
Everything's totally fine. Everything's totally fine. Speaking of everything being totally fine, Amina,
Yeah.
the Voting Rights Act is under attack, and that's our current
Oh,
events topic for today.
what a
Um,
misleading segue that was.
I know my segues have been. I'm trying to like subvert and be subversive. Um, so it may or may not be working. But yeah, current events. What you got for the Voting Rights Act? I'm actually a little bit ignorant on like what specifically the SCOTUS case is, but I believe there's a big SCOTUS case coming up on the Voting Rights Act. What do you got?
So, the Voting Rights Act is under fire in the Supreme Court as of late. Not the first time, but perhaps the worst time. We have this article from Reuters titled, and I quote, Voting Rights Act faces a near death experience at US Supreme Court. And this is by Jan Wolf on October 20th, 2025. So, a little background the Voting Rights Act didn't give people the right to vote, but it protected people's ability to vote. So, rewinding even more than that, the right to vote comes or is based in the 15th Amendment, which says that no state shall abridge a person's right to vote based on race or previous servitude. So this is like the Reconstruction era amendments that gave formerly enslaved people rights of citizens. Fast forward, these rights were being they weren't outright being blocked by legislation, but they were being blocked by practices and regulations such as like grandfather tests, literacy tests, um, poll closure times, identification requirements, so on and so forth. Um, where it would make it practically impossible for African Americans to vote, specifically in the South. So the Voting Rights Act was enacted in 1965 to address some of these issues. And it was like a huge landmark act that protected people's right to vote. Um, and now the Supreme Court is like, what if we just took that away, actually? So specifically, this case is addressing the second article of the Voting Rights Act, which is basically dealing with redistricting. So this case involves redistricting efforts in Louisiana to minimize the amount of Black voting districts in Louisiana. So this is just one of like many redistricting fights that's being uptaken ahead of the upcoming elections. But yeah, it's basically attacking this article of the Voting Rights Act would effectively undo all of the major protections or the last vestige of major protections that the Voting Rights Act provided to voters, and would basically allow redistricting on racial lines, just not ones that are like outwardly racist. Sorry, well, racist, yes, but racial. What I meant to say was racial. So instead of saying like, oh, we're making districts based on where white citizens live versus where Black citizens live, we'll say instead like, oh, we're making districts based on like parties, and like we have a Republican district and a Democratic district, and that's not racial discrimination. So, like that doesn't run against any of our laws or abilities to like regulate against that. Yeah, that's kind of like what we're looking at as a very general overview. There's obviously so much more going on in this case, but we just wanted to like talk about it, make you aware of it, put it out there because this is like one of the huge, huge, huge issues that's being decided in the Supreme Court, and that lawyers are going to be able to argue and impact. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think our hope is that we're going to continue to showcase important SCOTUS kind of like docket cases. They're back in session. There's going to be a bunch of really, really interesting and really important arguments and cases decided over the next few months. So part of our job is to make sure that those are on your radar. We're never going to purport to tell you what to think about stuff or even to purport to be experts on these issues. I think we're podcasters, so we're giving you stuff to go Google or to I don't know talk to AI about. Not to make everything about AI, but yeah, no. This was thanks for that preview. I mean, and this is definitely something we're going to keep an eye on over the next few months as the case gets decided, and excited to learn more about the intricacies of the Voting Rights Act.
Yeah, definitely excited to learn more. I mean, like again, this is a very complex issue. Not, I mean, I don't feel complex about how I think it
I
should be
think like
handled, but
emotionally,
like,
it's a very uncomplicated issue. I think that
yeah,
the legal questions involved are complex because
yeah.
I mean, don't make me take this side, but
No,
there.
no, I won't actually, and I encourage you not to. But it's just
I
a lot
won't.
of there's a lot of complex politics as to like why this
Yeah,
issue is uncomplicated in the end.
yeah.
But yeah, definitely gonna learn more about that so I can be more articulate to you about, you know, how this is shaping our voting rights going forward. And yeah, just like something I wanted to point out too, like I know the Voting Rights Act can tend to feel very distant in our history because we see those images of Martin Luther King in black and white and people, like being hosed down. It's all black and white. Even like perfect example, Ruby Bridges, like Ruby Bridges, you see those photos of Ruby Bridges being like
Yeah.
attacked going into school as a child. She's in her 60s right now. Like she's not even like an old woman. Like she is like these people still exist. Like the people who are like around like when this act first came about, like they're still here with us. Like it's a modern issue. Like I like
Yeah, not even a generation ago. Like the generation that experienced it is still here. They're your neighbors and your
yeah.
friends and your aunts and uncles and grandparents. So
Yeah, so things can change that fast. I mean like 50, 60 years um it doesn't feel like so recent, but like it's very recent in terms of our nation's history and it's changing rapidly. So
yeah,
yeah.
you had a list of actors that were older than the Voting Rights Act. Can
Yeah.
you just? I love that. That really
I'll
put things into perspective for me.
I'll name a few notable figures. Brad Pitt is older than the Voting Rights
God,
Act.
he looks great though. He
He
looks
looks
great.
incredible. Johnny Depp, older than the Voting Rights Act.
He looks less great. And I think it's part of it's because it's like he's so complicated. Brad though, Brad all day. Yeah,
Yeah. Kamala Harris, older than the Voting Rights Act. Yeah. Trump, significantly older than the Voting Rights Act. Just want to say that. Like,
Yeah, I mean
significantly older.
Trump and Biden are older than World War II. So I mean, look, we're not. Let's just be real. That's a whole different. That's a whole different ball game.
I'm
I'm
just
not gonna.
saying. Yeah. I mean, but like, to emphasize the point, like, older than World War II, like, these things, again, are not that far away from us in terms of, like, our history and, like, the time that's passed. So, yeah.
Tough,
Hopefully, I mean,
tough.
uh, I can't. I know where this is going, so I can't say hopefully like we'll remain on the path of progress, but we're progressing towards something. I'll say that.
Everything is gonna be a okay.
We are progressing towards something.
Everything's gonna be a okay. Um, Everything's cool. Okay, so speaking of how everything's awesome, um, the wow is my favorite part of this
Oh,
podcast. Do you want to hit us
yeah.
with the legal words of the week this week?
Yes, I will, I will. So our first word of the week is one that I read in a contracts case. Somebody was being paid quantum merit. Do you know what that means, Albie?
I
Can you take
do.
any guesses?
Oh well, okay. So we
Oh,
have covered this in contract, so I
awkward.
actually do know what it means, but I'll let you read the definition.
Okay. Well, again, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up that Legal Information
Yeah.
Institute from Cornell
But
Law
but
School.
if you were guessing quantum, some sort of
Oh yeah,
quantity
yeah,
or
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
amount, right? Like amount,
Hmm.
and then merit sounds like merit. So like I know what it means, but I also think like you could maybe put it together.
There
The
is some
amount
like yeah.
that you are owed, like the amount that you have meritoriously earned, perhaps.
I mean, you merit in itself is a word that you could use to explain it, like an amount
Yeah,
that is merited. Like,
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
I mean, yeah, and that's basically it. Quantum merit is Latin for as much as one is deserved. So quantum merit is an equitable remedy that provides restitution for unjust enrichment, often employed in contract law. So there you have it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great concept because if you're ever wondering like if you are like you're a person who works on a farm and you get paid at the end of the season and you've worked like half the season and then something happens, you have to move back home because somebody's sick. Are you just out of the money that you ostensibly have earned through working half the season? The concept of quantum merit says no, you're owed the money that you earned even if you didn't finish out the season. You worked half the season. The person should pay you half the season.
Yeah. So yeah, that's our first word, and then our second word is a word I love, which I think is just such a random word and like a very common civil law word, but like tortfeasor. The word is tortfeasor. This is not really one that you can guess what it means necessarily, but like I don't think you really have to. A tortfeasor is just the person who does torts. Like it's the
It's
person
the yeah.
committed the
It's
tort.
you can't say tort or because like I think in like the legal lingo stuff,
Hmm.
it's like offer or
Yeah,
offeree or like
promisor.
employer. Yeah,
Yeah.
promisor, promisee, employer, employee. Tortor, tortee. No, that just
No.
it won't do it. So we need tortfeasor.
Tortfeasor. It's still there. They
Feasor.
have it
It
in
is, yeah.
there.
We just have to add extra letters to make the or make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's got to be related to like malfeasance. Like
Mm.
feasance of something, like doing something bad. So like a tortfeasor is like doing something tort. I don't
Doing something
know.
toward. I just love that word. I'm offering it to you now. You can sprinkle it into conversation,
Yeah,
and people will look at you
when
confused, and
tort
then
law
you can
makes you want to
explain.
commit torts.
Yeah, you can be a tortfeasor. Yep, that's my little
Awesome,
ask
awesome,
for this
awesome.
week.
And you can learn more about torts and being a tortfeasor by attending Matt's great torts class that we have on the Crushing 1L dashboard or the LSAT website. We have a bunch of Crushing 1L classes. Torts is on Thursday. Con Law is on Tuesday. Civ Pro is on Sunday. Property is also on Thursday. So we have all of the doctrinal bases covered. Come join us. Any paid Demon account gets access to all of those live classes, usually worth a lot more. You can get in on the ground floor while we're building this program out. Come learn from some really, really awesome and smart attorneys. These are not only great legal professionals, but they're also great teachers. And just come with any questions, even if you're not a law student. Just if you don't even know what torts are, if you don't even know what Civ Pro is or Con Law is or property is, just come to class and go, hey, this is my LSAT study break. I'd love to just learn about this stuff from you. My take is if your brain just hears it and then you go to law school next fall, it won't be the first time that you're hearing it. And
Yeah,
that's such a huge advantage. Such a huge advantage.
yeah, yeah. Although I will say, your study break from LSAT is to do towards try something else. Try something else.
Real law nerd heads will get what I mean. No, I do get, yeah. If you're like tired because you've been doing LSAT for a couple hours and you're like, well, I don't want to do this, I totally get it. It's really fun though. It is actually really really fun. It's really cool. There's lots of interesting stuff. We talk about really interesting legal topics and cases and stuff. So I don't know. Stop by, try it out. But yeah, I don't know. That's all I got. I mean, do you have any closing comments or anything?
Yeah, no, I think that kind of sums it up. I'm gonna get off of here and go be a tortfeasor. No, I'm not. Legally,
For
no,
legal
I'm not.
reasons, for legal reasons, we are joking. Everything said on this podcast is a joke.
Yeah,
Please don't sue us.
please, I'm begging. I don't have legally, I cannot be sued. I have no money.
Well, yeah. So yeah, one thing in torts is like you usually hunt for the person who can like pay for damages, and like certainly we as law students cannot pay you any money in damages.
No,
So
that's actually like a
sorry.
thing though. Like you can actually be judgment proof by declaring bankruptcy because you don't have any
I
money.
declare bankruptcy.
I declare it now. I'm gonna be a tortfeasor, but I'm judgment proof, so I'm not gonna be a tortfeasor.
For legal
Allegedly.
reasons, we are joking. Please don't sue us.
Yeah.
All right.
Until then, though.
That's it for this episode of Crushing 1L. If you enjoyed the episode, please subscribe, leave a review, or even better, share it with someone in your life that you know is thinking about law school. If you have a question, you can always write into the podcast. Just go to crushing1l.com. It'll lead you to a type form that you can use to submit your questions, comments, or concerns. Again, that's crushing1l.com, the number one, and then the letter L, crushing1l.com. Until next time, folks, keep crushing.